Welcome back to another depressing episode of Arkansas Basketball Recap. I'm Daniel Price. That's Jacob Price. We're here to talk about the Arkansas Razorbacks' humiliating defeat on the road against the Missouri Tigers by a score of 83 to 65. It was horrible. Let me tell you, it's one thing this team can't do: dig out of an 18-point hole. That's not going to happen. Not ever.
hmm
Not even once this season is that going to happen. Because the problem with this team, mostly, and I've got some problems with the defense, but the real problem, the glaring problem, like the thing that's right on the end of their nose that everyone can see, is that this offense is trash. And if you have a trash offense, you can't get down. You sure can't get down by 18. You can't do that. You can't get down. I think the most they were down by was 20, but
And
you,
if you're gonna have a bad offense, then you've got to have an unbelievable defense, and the defense is, eh, it's
so it's
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 middle of the
okay.
road. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's like it's hey, is this
it
defense bad? No. Is this defense great? No. It's like what is the defense? It's average
it's good.
defense.
It's good individual defense at times with big time letdowns, and I don't think you can overstate how inopportune
Yeah.
because it cuts the legs out from under any momentum that you do start to get with your limping offense. If you hit a couple of back-to-back shots, it's just like the chance of you getting a bunch of stops in a row is not like a wide open three is coming, a defensive lapse, somebody going, wait, oh no,
Well,
or a guy getting behind the defense, back cutting and getting a wide open dunk. Like there is a defensive lapse coming that is going to completely throw sand on your momentum.
well,
Uh,
great defenses don't get out rebounded.
yeah,
It goes in. That's the rebounding is defensive rebounding in particular goes into your sort of overall defensive ranking and numbers. And once again, dude, Arkansas.
I didn't
Now,
even look at the stats. I was too
n-
disgusted.
do they get obliterated on the boards? No. What is the rebounding? Let's take a look. 38 rebounds for Arkansas, 39 rebounds for Missouri. Closing the gap.
Just
Hey, you're so close, Jake. You might get what you're hoping for one of these. I mean, that is pretty close.
we might out rebound somebody by one or two one of these
It
days.
might happen.
The
Um,
second best recruiting class in the country might out rebound somebody by one rebound someday.
it might happen. But no, I mean, like the problem with this team, like the real, I mean, it's the 65 to 83. Like, what's the problem with that number? You might be like, well, it's that they have 83, like, and you don't have that many. Yeah, it's a 65 though. Like, you can't, like, if you're in the best conference maybe in the history of college basketball, you can't score 65 points. That's not going to work. So, like nobody, like I don't care. Tennessee's defense is great. They can't average 65 points a game and have a winning record in this conference. They can't do it. Like,
Mm-mm.
that's not going to work. So, 65 points. Hey, Jake and I have watched varsity girls basketball games that my daughter starts in that score more points than that. And they're a good team, but come on, man. The game
Yeah,
is
and
shorter.
I saw a point guard score 32 points and get 7 and 7 and 7. It's like, okay, maybe she's playing against girls that aren't that good, so the defense not bad. Okay, I saw my niece hit 7 of 7 3-pointers. Now I don't care. Like, could we get her out there and get her wide up? Like, can she can hit a shot?
Yeah,
It's like
dude.
my own daughter went 4 for 4 from 3-pointers, and she's 12.
Yeah, dude. Um, look, here's the thing. Let me make this pitch to Cal. I know you're watching Cal, so like, just I know you're on the YouTube for sure. Listen, bro, you could have an amazing thing, and here's how you can have it. You got to take a CEO approach, dude. You got to be the face of the team. You got to do the recruiting. You can make all these decisions. You be like pacing the sideline, yelling at guys, but you've got to hire not your boys, because your coaching staff apparently is terrible because you don't have a guy that's in charge of this offense, and it can't be you. And so, what you need to do is you need to go find some guy somewhere, some dude that set some like friggin' 3 year all-time records at the JUCO level for offense and hire that dude and get him on your staff. That's what you got to do, and he's in charge of the offense. Okay, like it's no shame in it, bro. Like do what you do, but like you gotta get someone else in charge of the offense. I don't know. Maybe there is someone on your staff. Doesn't seem like it, and you're just not listening to him. I don't know what's going on. What I'm saying is, whatever you're doing, you gotta stop doing that, and you gotta go a different route where you have somebody else that's like the offensive coordinator of this team. Hey, Mike Neighbors, coach of the women, he knew it. That dude couldn't coach defense if his life depended on it. And so what does he do? He has to go hire like basically so like I've seen huddles where like they have to get a defensive stop where Neighbors ain't even in the huddle. Because
He's getting a drink over on the side.
dude, you gotta like turn this offense over to someone else, dude. You're getting great players. You're the greatest recruiter of all time, dude. Like lean into your strengths, dude. Don't let the ego stop you from like unmitigated success in this area. Don't let it happen, dude. Like find your weak spot, which have just informed you what it is in 2025. Maybe it wasn't in 1994, but it is in 2025. Go get someone to fill that gap and, be great again. That's what you got to do.
I've got an idea too. Let me tell you what I think you should do. I think, and in the context of you've lost a historic amount of games to start the SEC. Literally, you've made history, the most inauspicious history. This will, I mean, who knows? Maybe you can break it next week, and no one will ever come after this record, you know. But you've literally humiliated this franchise. You've humiliated this fan base. You've taken excellent players that are very young, and I blame them some for the effort, but like I'll blame them for the rebounding because they should be able to rebound. I'm not going to blame them for the offense because these poor guys, Brazil is catching the ball and Adu is catching the ball 19, 20, 26 feet from the basket, and they're pivoting and looking for someone to pass to, and then like, oh, I guess it's my turn to drive, and then like they pick the ball up and then they hand it to someone else, and then they like, can I get an advantage? I'll dribble around for a little bit. I guess I'm going to put my head down. They don't know what's going on, and these kids are young enough that there's no reason that why they should be X's and O's geniuses. They need help. They need someone to show them what to do. And maybe you just recruited the five, six, seven, like most knob-headed, lug-headed guys that just can't get what you're teaching them. But I don't think so.
Well, I don't think
And
so because Nellie Davis went to a Final Four as the head of the snake on a team. Nellie Davis averaged 18 points a game last year and averaged more than that. You may, oh, well, that was at FAU, but it's not the same thing. Averaged more than that in the tournament on the way to a Final Four. I feel bad for this guy. I see people all over the place, Arkansas fans being like, dude, Nellie Davis is a bust. He sucks. No, he doesn't. The problem is he's in an offense where it looks like I could guard him. Like, what are we? I don't know what.
nobody knows what they're doing. And I'm telling you, if you lose another game in the SEC next week, if you go back home and on the court, what I would need you to do if you lose that game, and especially if it's the same thing. I mean, dude, the way we started tonight. I mean, after like, I mean, you're talking about you're about to make history. You need to win this game, obviously, and to start 6 minutes with 2 points. 6 minutes go by and you have 2 points, and you're down by 16 already. It was like 18-2 with 6 minutes gone. If that happens again, if you, I mean, you need to make sure you wear a red jacket, bring a samurai sword with you, and when that game buzzer hits, walk out onto that slobber hog and just Harry carry yourself on that sword and free us of this contract because this is getting redonkulous.
Yeah, dude. It's
You're going to want to wear the red jacket so it can be played on YouTube and
dude,
without being too gory.
dude, the jacket, by the way, to your point, worst, like maybe worst ever.
Well, at this point now, he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna have to come out in full, like, dipped in red. But no, I mean, dude, I mean, it's getting bad. Like, it is
I really, dude,
so much worse than I could have
dude,
imagined.
I want to critique these players, but I don't feel like I don't feel like it's their fault, man. Like I don't like. What are you trying to tell me? You can't tell me that Nelly. I've watched him at FAU. Like you can't tell me that that guy just sucks. I know he doesn't. Like I mean,
And like
just stop. It's
Thoreau
all of these
is like
guys.
is obviously, I mean, dude, it's getting embarrassing the way he's just flying and spinning like a top through the lane with just like, and but like he's a kind of player that if he was in a system and he was catching the ball from the right angle moving towards the basket, he would be virtually unstoppable. He's just not obviously good enough to drive from 19 feet and take go around
I don't
three
even.
different defenders.
I don't even think
That's
it's a
not his
good.
game.
I don't even think it's a good enough thing. It's the, of course, like that's not what he does. Like, I mean, like it's not that like, hey, he's not very good, so you have to help him out. He's like a freaking crazy athlete. Like you have like this weapon right here, and that's like you don't know how to use it. Is okay, like it's not like again, like I'd love to sit here and like maybe the rebound is the one thing, but like offensively, I don't even know. I can't sit here and like they that I these guys can play basketball. Like I like obviously. I mean, you have Jonas. Like there's guys that are proven. There's other guys that like I mean Boogie Flan and stuff. Like I mean, what are you telling me, Boogie Flan? Like if Boogie Flan's probably thinking, dude, if I was in a freaking different system right now, I would be like out of control. Um, it's
No,
just.
I'm starting to feel bad for these guys, honestly. Like, I mean, it's a bummer.
And by
They
the way,
have
and
gone.
Boogie Flan had a bad night. By the way, I mean 4 points, 2 of 13. Also, bro, that won't get it done. But
No, but I mean, yeah, he's basically like he's been reduced to dribble, drive, and then shoot a fadeaway jump shot.
yeah.
Like, I mean, that's the plan, I
Well, they're
guess.
freaking
And
playing this junk zone at us where we don't get the ball in the high post, or we maybe get it in the lane a couple times and then go away from it, even though that worked. It's just it's super
well,
fun.
and then even something like the only bright spot in this whole game, which is Big Z coming in and getting a bunch of blocks and getting a little rhythm going offensively. It actually that actually only serves to show how come he hadn't been playing at all.
Well, by the way, I'll go ahead and get out in front of this. Player of the game, of course, Big Z. Uh, he has plays 30 minutes, which he hasn't played that many minutes in a long time. So he plays 3/4 of the game. Hey, gets you that double double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Gets a steal, gets an assist, blocks, zero turnovers. I mean, Big Z was great.
Mhm.
I don't know, dude.
He was battling. There were several more plays where he got a hand on a ball that didn't let them get a putback
Dude,
or let us get a
sealing
rebound.
guys out where other guys are driving, doing lot.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
thought Big Z
yeah.
was really good.
He was responsible for another 6 points on just sealing guys out and stuff. And so, yeah, but all like I said, all that does, unfortunately, that what is stands out there is how come we only played like 4 minutes the last two games?
Yeah,
Do you know? I mean, like you're watching, we're not watching him in practice. We're going, I guess he's just too slow. I guess he just can't play down there or whatever. It's like, what happened? Like,
hey,
and
dude,
I'm actually,
soft touch around the rim, like
in a
dropping
weird way,
stuff in.
it makes you look dumber. Like
Yeah,
that he's the one guy that did well is the guy you haven't been playing. It's like
yeah,
this game really couldn't have gone worse for Cal. Like
yeah,
you start out and it's like it's an abortion of a start as far as the offense goes, and then you know the guy that brings you even kind of keeps you from getting blown out by 30 instead of just keeping it at 16, 18 points is the guy that you haven't been playing.
yeah. I also like for
I
another
mean, I'll give you
pot.
credit for playing him because I think the reason he played him is because he when he went out there, he was the only one that was trying really hard. And I'm sorry, that's the one thing these guys that I feel bad for them because I think their spirit is broken. But they still aren't, they don't realize like you think you're playing hard, you're not playing as
I
hard
yeah,
as the other guys are.
I thought two guys played as hard as they could, and I thought it was Big Z. I thought Big Z was really trying to play. He was really trying to play hard. Uh, I thought Billy Richmond.
Richmond.
Yeah, I thought Billy
Hmm.
Richmond played hard.
Hmm.
It wasn't perfect, but he was he was playing hard. I mean, like he had a couple. I mean, dude, I want to like show my kid like Billy Richmond doing this when he runs down, like not like he was down there, chases a dude down on a fast break and blocks it, and then has to run all like and it gets outletted out, and then he has to run all the way past like all like eight other guys as we miss a shot, and then he runs in and tips it in. You're like, dude, that was just. I mean, I gotta respect it. Like that's just all hustle right there, dude. That's and so yeah. So I thought, I
Yeah, we
I
were just
like
saying the same as over again. Like, I mean, like the guys, they think they're playing hard, but they haven't realized that thing yet that you have to play balls all to the wall, run as hard as you can, even if there's like four guys in front of you and there's almost no chance you're going to have anything to do
mm,
with the play. It's going to be wasted calories. You're blowing your legs out. It's not going to matter because you have to do that 100% of the time
yeah,
because you're going to get rewarded 8% of the time.
yeah. And
But that
I
8%
think
for every
Billy,
person is going to add up to a lot of buckets,
yeah,
a lot of rebounds, a lot of blocks. Like you got to play that way.
yeah. And I think Billy makes mistakes, but I do think that Billy does play that way all the time when he's out there. There's another time where he was on the floor like for in a
Yeah.
scrum, yeah, multiple
Hmm.
times. Like so,
And I gotta say, dude, I mean, I kind of agreed with, I mean, Cal not playing Adu very much. He played Big Z instead because Adu, he's okay, but like he's not doing that. The ball ends up around his ankles. He's 7 foot tall and he's like bending over and trying to grab at it while their players are diving at. It's like, dude, you're more likely to get hurt with guys diving at your knees than if you dive at the floor. You know what I mean? Like,
by the way, Big Z will actually dive on the floor, which is
I know.
wild to see. But he'll actually like you'll see him get down on the floor. Um, yeah, I mean, I think those were the two bright spots. Was and look, dude, if you're losing and like that, I mean, I think at this point in the season, I'd be like, play Billy more, play him more. Like, I mean, like yeah,
He's one guy you might have next year.
yeah, play him more. Yeah, he got hit in the back of the head with a pass or whatever. Maybe you should have been paying attention, but I.
Well,
I'll take the effort like and stuff and look, I'm not suggesting these other guys aren't trying. DJ, I thought DJ tried really hard and at times like he looked like he was really but you know, uh, you might have if you're gonna like not if you can't score anyway, then like try to win in a rock fight. And Billy's a rock fight player, so put him out there.
mhm. And even like to the degree that I'm talking about, like I still put that on the coach. Like the coach has got to demand what he wants from the players.
Yeah,
And if they're not doing it, he has to tell them specifically when they're not doing it, why he what he wants more of, what he wants less of. And um I mean, unless you want to convince me that he is doing that and they're just not listening. But I have a big fat hunch that all of these guys, whether they transfer because we're so terrible or they go to the NBA because they're so good. Like I have a feeling they'll be just fine wherever they go. They'll probably go somewhere and play really good basketball. I mean, this is bad. Like what's happening here is crazy. I mean, and this pretty much sealed it up. I mean, well, these will probably get shorter and shorter until until you see something change because it's just getting redundant. I mean, we just have to face the facts. We talked about this earlier. Arkansas is bad. I mean, and they're the worst team in the SEC. Both, I mean, we knew they were, but we
us in South Carolina are just like fighting it out, like just trying to figure
yeah,
out
yeah. I
who's
mean,
worse.
we may not stay the worst team, and maybe yeah, maybe we'll see who's worse, South Carolina or us. But it's one of the two. And before, I think like 2 games ago, we were like, crap, we're bottom of the sea, but we felt like, but we're not really like
Yeah,
we statistically are, but like it's just some bad luck, some like we're gonna get snap out of this. It's like now it's like no, 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 no. It's not just statistically. We are one of, if not the worst teams in the SEC. And the bad news is it doesn't matter how bad it gets. They don't seem to be able to even turn it like they don't, I mean, start out with any energy. Um, it doesn't look like they've done any X's and O's on the team they're playing. Like there is zero indicators that, but it's gonna get better or they're moving in a different direction. Like
It
even
is,
not
it
even
is,
the
it
right
is.
direction, just a different direction. It looks like it keeps on going. Hey guys, I've told you what to do. Roll the ball out there. Keep do it or don't, but you're gonna lose by 20, I guess. Like I don't know
Well,
what's happening.
well, and here's the thing. Like, look, I mean, Missouri came out and they like, I mean, obviously shot the hell out of the ball like the first half. Um, and sometimes, and here's the thing, sometimes teams do that. And sometimes you could be a great defensive team and that will still happen. Like where guys just they make their like shots are going in. But that's sort of the point is that like sometimes that happens and we're in a position because our offense is so bad that like when that happens, when a team does that, you get down. That's how it works. A team comes out, they shoot, 7 of 10 from the 3-point line in the first half because they can't miss or whatever it is, and you get down. A good team though won't be down 18 when that happens because they'll
They'll be
but
down 8.
yeah, but we can't. So
No, that's yeah, no,
we
that's
have
right.
no we
If
have
a
no
team might come out and just
ability.
shoot they might shoot the cover off the ball, but in like a 8-minute run where it's like, oh my God, are they
Yeah,
going to ever miss? But if you can even plod along and score at a regular adult college basketball man's pace, like just score every other time they score, you're not down by 20, you're down by 8. You're
yeah.
down by maybe 10, worst case scenario. You know what I mean? And by the way, if we were down by 10, we'd have been tied at with 10 minutes to go because we did cut that down 10 points. But like even when they were doing that, it's like you just knew you're like, but we're not going to be able to hold this the
Dude,
whole game.
I think at one point they went on an 18-2 run or something like that. You lose this game by 18 points or whatever. I mean, that's the game, and like we don't like that's the problem is that look, the way that Missouri shot the ball in that first half, I don't expect anybody to be up on them at halftime. But you can't be down 18. Like you can't do it. Like that can't happen.
Well,
And
what did
especially
did we
not
outscore them in the second half? Or I think we did, didn't we?
um
Or maybe it was really close to
I don't let's see here.
maybe
Uh
not. We outscored them in the first half of the second half, but I think maybe we let go of the rope there in the last 5 minutes.
we were down so we let them score 52 points in the first half, 31 points in the second half. We scored 35 points in the first half and 30 in the second. We were worse in the second half than the we were defensively better the second half, I guess, but offensively worse. So yeah, we outscored by one in the second half.
So
Um,
yeah, I mean, like I said,
we
if you don't
were
let them,
down 17 at halftime. We lost by 18.
hmm,
The point is the same. So basically, what happened?
dude,
You could not sustain you couldn't sustain you couldn't stand through the run like because you got down by too much because you didn't score at all during you can't go this team especially but no team dude you can't let a team go on an 18-0 run or
30
18-2
points a
run or
half's
whatever.
not going to
Can't
do
do
it,
it.
dude.
No, you can't do it. And so like the it's tough, dude. You got beat by a guy that look, I'm not saying that Grill's not good or whatever, but you got beat by a guy that looks like he's 30 years old and
Has that haircut? I mean, come on, that's embarrassing.
I mean,
You're gonna get beat by a guy with that haircut.
that dude does look old. I will say, like in his face, not old. I'm just saying, like it is funny. Like when you look at his face and then look at Billy Richmond's face, you're like, yes, in the same league. What the heck is going on here? 6-year guys, and look, like, and they brought it up a bunch in the cast. I get we're young. I didn't know that statistic. We're the youngest team in the SEC. That makes some of this less surprising too, where you're just like, oh, we're playing a bunch of freaking guys that have. I mean, that guy was just like, I've played more basketball than you. I mean, that's like all it was. Like, he's like, hey, man, I make shots when I'm open, and I played so much basketball that I'm like really good at getting open. Like, and that was the whole thing. Like, I make you bite on stuff. I know angles. Was he like a better athlete than anybody we had on the floor? No, like, no, he's not. But he's just like, dude, I've played 5,000 games of basketball, so get ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
and dude, and the way that Missouri moved the ball compared to the way that Arkansas moved the ball, that's sort of like all you need to know when you watch this game is watch them move the ball, watch us move the ball. And that's when you know
dude,
it's all about a system because you're like, that's embarrassing. Like, even if you don't, dude, even if the offense is just like a simple motion offense with quick passes and cuts, like like what is happening?
yeah, I mean, I'm swearing at my TV, dude, in front of my children because I'm like, what the f- is going on here? I mean, when guys are just like fumbling around with the ball and like but they've got it on their hip and they're like, okay, and I'm gonna dribble between my legs a few times and then, all right, I guess I'm not, all right, I'll hand it to you. And then like you can do that kind of same thing. And then maybe if I hold the ball on my hip long enough, somebody will come set a screen and then I'll dribble around and then the two guys will help. And I guess now I'm just chucking it up from 8 feet with over three guys and hoping somebody gets a rebound or that goes in. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And for whatever reason, with all of this downhill driving that we do, like because our the offense is supposed to be sort of like a a driving offense. I mean, the offense is like to get downhill. That's the whole thing. Is like we think we have like good athletes, which we do. And so it's like get a one-on-one matchup and take it to the rim. Like that's the offense. And by the way, that's not dissimilar from Musselman's offense, which sometimes was very frustrating to watch. One thing that Musselman's teams did though that was like different than this is like we just lived at the free throw line. And for whatever reason, like we're also like not getting fouled. So we don't like we like put up stuff before the contact or like I don't know what the deal is, but like I feel like we don't get to the foul line enough for a team that's the whole offense is based on like driving.
Yeah, and like I said, you can tell that they've got the like Firo. I mean, he is in his own head. He doesn't know where the basket is. I mean, he airballed a like 2.5 foot push shot. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about? Early in the game, he was just like looked up, and it's because he's hesitating, dude. They're thinking so hard about everything, and I think it's because these guys Cal wants them to be instinctual. He's trying to get them to play jazz and be instinctual basketball players and free flow. And, the cat doesn't think about the jumping in and grabbing the bird. It's just like it just moves into it and does it on its own. It's like these guys can't do that. They need they need you to give them some sheet music that they can put that trumpet to their mouth and play what's on that sheet.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
got the skills, they got the lung capacity. Write them a piece that they can play.
You
You
know
know what I
what's
mean?
weird? What's weird about this is, I mean, so check this out. Um, I mean, yeah, dude, this is the game. Okay, so field goals. We shot 63 shots. We made 28 of them. We shot 44.4%. It's not terrible at all.
Mm-hmm.
We were 5 of 23 from the 3-point line, 21.7%. That's not going to work. Okay. Missouri, how many shots do you think they shot? They shot the exact amount of shots that we shot, 63 shots. They made
That's weird.
29. They made 29 of them. That's 46%. So they shot 1.6% better. And you'd be like, oh, is that why they won? Well, you don't win by 18 shooting 1.6% better than the other team. That doesn't happen.
Not with the same amount of shots, not unless you got twice as many shots.
Yeah, so I mean, shooting the same amount of shots. So you're like, well, what about the 3-point line? Well, they did hit 11 threes to our five, so that helps. And they were 47.8%. That's way too high. So they made 11 threes. We made five threes. So yes, they made six more threes than us. So that's part of it. But the other thing, dude,
Well, that's all
four
of it.
14 of 19 from the free throw line. 14 of 19. That's 73.7%. So they have 14 points from the foul line. We were 4 of 8. That won't work,
50%.
dude. Well, 50%, but why 50% of 8? Like that's not good enough. And because you're like, was it the rebounding battle? No, like the rebounds were basically even, 38 to 30. Someone had to win by one. There was one
Hmm.
more rebound. Like it was an odd number. You split it, and one went the one. Someone had to get one more than the other, or whatever.
So
It's
it's the free throws and the three pointers because even though we shot similar amount of shots, they were getting more. They were getting one extra point on a bunch of those.
They got one extra point on
Six of them.
six of them. Say it's six there. It's like
Hmm.
okay, but they also had got 10 extra points from the free throw line. I mean, they were
Hmm.
14 and 19. We were 4 of 8. You can't win doing that. I mean, you just can't. You can't. Like you can't do it.
Wait, you mean you can't shoot three pointers poorly and not shoot foul shots and win a game
No, you can't do it.
and play mediocre defense?
I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, like our 2 point percentage must have been pretty decent. With our
Well, it
three
was a
point
lot.
percentage.
It was a lot of short in the paint
Yeah,
shots and
yeah,
dunks. I mean, it
yeah.
was.
So it's
Again,
like,
another thing that they seemed to kind of go away from that was working very, very well was just get the ball to the 10-foot part, in the paint and
I mean, here's the thing
flip it
about
in there.
the thing about kind of basketball now is that here's the options. Um, you need to do one of these two things well. I mean, if you do both of them well, you're going to be great. But if you need to do one or the other, and Muss's teams never shot the three very well. Like, I mean, it was
Hmm.
like, I mean, ever. But they were like always like top 5 in the country at like free throws attempted and stuff. You got to do one or the other, dude. Like, I mean, you got to just got to be one or the other. You got to either get to the foul line or you got to shoot from the outside well. Like because those are equalizing points. Because most teams shoot like in like close to the basket pretty well.
Hmm.
And now I know that like we took way more shots close to the basket than. Well, I say that. Oh, dude, what a wild stat. We shot the same exact amount of three pointers. So we must have shot a lot better than them from two because we both took 23 three pointers. So,
Well, we didn't shoot a lot better. That's why we lost by 18.
well, I just mean that, like, yeah, that's weird that you would shoot the exact same amount of shots and the exact same amount of three pointers, which means you shot the exact same amount of two pointers. That free throw line disparity is a big one, though, dude. Like, like 14 and 19. I mean, as opposed to 4 of 8. I mean, they shoot 11 more free throws than you. That's not good.
Hmm.
Especially if you're gonna shoot the same amount of three pointers, you're gonna make 5 and they're gonna make 11. Like that's the game. That's the game. They made six more on the same amount of attempts from the 3 point line than you did, and they just lived at the free throw line compared to you. So gotta figure that out, man.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll have something different to say other than they were like breaking down the nuances of why they're bad, but and when they start to show something different,
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully they can.
I hope so. I hope so. And look, by the way, like I'm not jumping off the ship as far as like being a fan. That always bothers me when people are like, "I'm done." Like,
Of the Hogs? No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll always be a
yeah,
fan of dude. I went through worse. I haven't gone through worse times, but I've gone through some bad stretches. I mean, and I think that actually is what's looming in the back of Razorback fans' minds. I mean, dude, if you went through the Heath Pelfrey
yeah,
years and then, Anderson was with like a little bit of more hope and then a
yeah,
slow like descent into madness. And that's why the Musselman was so sweet because that was pretty good times right away. And except until that last year. And this is definitely even more than Heath or Pelfrey or Anderson or anything. This is the most hype and then fall. I mean, that's why I feel bad for these guys because Arkansas right now is like I mean, and there's a lot of teams that are down this year that if their fan bases aren't really happy with them, but
Yeah.
but Arkansas, because of the Cal, because of Kentucky, this is the number one. We will be the front page story of the disappointment, losers, and like underperforming. And those kids are going to have to wear it. And with the way social media is and stuff, I mean, it's got to be tough because I mean, this is not how you dreamed about your college basketball season going, and this is not what you thought was going to happen when you signed up with Cal. And I mean, like I said, it's kind of unbelievable how bad it is.
Yeah. And there's a weird thing going on in college basketball right now. Like Kansas is not great, and they were, preseason number one. Um, they're not even ranked now, and they've not been good. Indiana's not good. Arkansas is not good. I'm not saying that we're the same as Kansas or Indiana. Don't freak out. Like if you, I don't know why a Kansas or
But we
Indiana
were
fan would be
supposed to
watching
be.
this, but we were supposed to be this year. But there's a lot of sort of this. The transfer portal has like really changed some stuff, and just getting a bunch of good recruits, and like everybody's constructing rosters that and filling holes, and like uh, it's a it's a little bit of a different skill set, I think, and some of these guys appear to not to have to. Man, I'm saying they can't do it, but they gotta learn. So, and that's the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, like the big question, because this year, barring like something incredible. Like we're cooked, guys. Guys, we are cooked.
Well,
Uh,
I saw as like some, I mean, and I don't know how they get these stats, but some kind of algorithm computer thing said that before this game with a 4-0 hole, I mean, no 4 hole, we had a 4% chance of making the tournament.
yeah,
Now, 4% chance is basically a 0% chance. I mean, that's like you're not going to make it. Now, I mean, obviously it can't be zero, but it's going to literally be probably
like three
like
to go down
n-
one,
it'll
like three
probably be
percent.
low. I think it'll be lower than that. It'll probably be under two.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. I mean, this is the big if. I mean, it's like year two of Cal. I mean, the question is like, can you teach an old dog new tricks, or can you not? And maybe you can't. I hope you can. That's what you gotta hope for is that you can.
I'm shocked. There are people already calling for him to like leave. Obviously, that can't happen because of the contracts and stuff, but because it's not about the like because you there is a way that you can imagine having this same record, but where you're like, oh man, but I mean, if that one game, if they don't call that
Yeah.
foul, we would have won. Or man, we missed those free throws. That would it's like these are not that. Like these teams don't look. It doesn't look good. The losses are bad. The offense is
Yeah.
clunky. It's not like this. You could. There's a version of this record where you're like, well, hey, this season got away from us and sucks. And if things are just a couple of bounces different, that's not the season. This is like, oh my God, we're bad.
Yeah.
This is a bad team. Holy moly. Wow, how did that happen? How did this team become bad?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. We'll see. Hey, CEO model. Go hire that guy. Find that guy that's averaging like 107 points at JUCO. Hire that dude and have him run this thing.
Dude, I hate to use this metaphor, and I'm not trying to, make anybody who, I'm not trying to be political or anything, but this must be how like Kamala Harris people felt on election night. I feel like Kentucky fans were Trump supporters going, no, she's not going to win. I don't know what you guys are talking about. She's not going to win. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm looking, all the analysts are saying Cal's awesome and this team is great. And I'm looking at the freaking write-ups in the paper and it looks great. And now I'm like, oh my God, those people don't know, those people don't know jack crap. Some kind of boys club or something. Like, this guy's a fraud. Like, I mean, I'm not really saying, but like, this must be how they felt. We're like, wait a second, Kentucky fans, right? Am I crazy? Was I duped this whole time?
It's rough,
But
dude. It's
it's a bad
rough.
feel. It's a bad feeling.
Well, I'm gonna get out of here, eat some crow, go to bed. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
All right. All right,
All
man. I'll
right.
see you after the next one.
See you guys.